What's going on, people? Welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV, back with another live stream, and big up to everyone locked in today. Obviously, as you know, I've been away for a few days, but I'm back. Got myself back in time thinking, you know what, transfer deadline day today, big things going in. But if you're an Arsenal fan, today is not the transfer window closing. It is simply Friday, people. It's Friday then. It's Saturday, Sunday. Da, 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 da. Do they not know the window closes today? I don't know, people. I don't know. That Havertz money, you know, we'll get into it in the show anyway. Lots to talk about. But big up anyway. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel and all of that good stuff. Big up, everyone. Hope you're well. And I'm going to be speaking, you know me, people, I don't mix it. We're going to be speaking some harsh realities again in today's show. Was this transfer window good enough? Can this lead us potentially to winning a league title? You know, did we waste money? Were we just unlucky because Timber got injured? And I don't know. We're going to talk, people. It's amazing we've spent more money than we've ever spent in a transfer window. Yeah, I'm not really sitting here with any major confidence that we can win the title. I'm going to be honest. Some people actually saying they think we're not better than last season, which is crazy. I would say we're a little bit better than last season because I do think Declan Rice is better than Xhaka. But, you know, anyway, we're going to talk about it. And you never know. Maybe Arsenal will spring a surprise on us. The window closes tonight at 11 o'clock. And we got lots to talk about today. We'll be talking Arsenal. We'll also talk about other clubs because, to be honest, Arsenal are not really doing much. The headlines are coming out of other clubs. So if you support other clubs outside of Arsenal, we've probably got more to talk about if we talk about your team. Liverpool rejected £150 million from Al Ittihad in Saudi. Spurs are signing Brennan Johnson for 45 million from Forest, and United have agreed Amrabat on loan, 10 million euros loan fee, 25 million euros option at the end. Which, listen, I'm going to be honest, I think Amrabat's a very, very good player. That one annoys me a little bit. You know, when a team's buying a good player, it annoys you when it's not your team. And I do think Amrabat is a very good player. But anyway, people, yeah, I was on the beach, not anymore. The only thing Arsenal have done today is bring out new merch. You know, no signings, but they do have merch. The Green European Collection. Green on green. Yeah. There's not a lot going on with that, really. It's green. It's a whole lot of green. And we'll wear it in Europe. If, you know, get it off the screen. Just get it off. Get it off. I'm sick of it. I've promoted them. You know, Elliot's in here. We're promoting merch. I've bought merch this season. I've bought kits in the hope they would continue spending. And they've stopped. They've called it a day. They've closed the shop early, people. What the hell is going on? You know, it's a Friday. It's a Friday, people. Like my Big Up Anthony said, he said, talking of Friday, I'll rewatch the trilogy. Actually forgot I'll pour next Friday and Friday after next is nothing comes close to the first. I actually like Friday after next and Friday the most. But yeah, it's just Friday. It's just Friday to Arsenal, people. You know what? As an Arsenal fan, you should be used to feeling let down on the day that the window closes. I've got to be honest, you know. When have we ever really blown up the market on deadline day? Mesut Ozil, you know, we don't often go crazy on deadline day. But, you know, I did wake up today thinking something maybe big would happen. But, hey, it is what it is. Big up my brother Broads in the chat. I joined the stream. See, Curtis already on the merch website. Bro, I've been trying to help the club out, man. But, you know, you go on channels, they'll be giving this transfer window 9 out of 10 and saying it's the best window we've ever had and blah, blah, blah. But, hey, we're going to talk. Yeah, Aubameyang was a big one. That was a big one. But was that? I think we got him in January, didn't we, after selling Alexis. So that wasn't a summer one. But, hey, it is what it is. Let's get into the show. Sure, sports news. But do you know what, people? I'm not even hyping it. I don't want to hype any Arsenal fans. I don't want to give any false hope, any false expectation. Do you know what? I'd even take being linked with players right now. Just even give me false links just to give me some hope that something's going to happen. I would even take that right now. But yeah, at the moment, I don't have a lot. Anyway, like the video and subscribe and all of that good stuff. Big up everyone who's voted for the Football Content Awards. The link is in the description below if you haven't already. For those who have, much appreciated. If you haven't, don't worry about it. Big up South London for becoming a member. Big up yourself, bro. And did someone say merch again? Yeah, there's some merch, but I ain't going anywhere near it. And Broad said I heard Yanam Villa is joining us. Yeah, Yanam Villa, Julian Draxler and Higuain at the training ground, people. Anyway, let's talk. Let me give you the one rumour that was even hanging around. Listen, I don't want to... I'm not trying to build anyone's hopes up. At the moment, I don't see anything happening, but there was one little tiny rumour, and I ran with it in the title, by the way, that's for sure. And there was a rumour about 2 hours ago. Arsenal have contacted the representatives of Hijack Cancelo. The Gunners would like to sign the Portuguese fullback on loan until the end of the season. Now, basically... Barcelona are struggling to get the deal done. I don't know if the Ansu Fati deal, him going to Brighton, will now enable them to get Cancelo done. They've obviously got financial problems with wages, and they needed to clear the wage bill before they get this deal done. And because we were still interested in him, and Barca have hesitated, we've thought, can we snatch them? But then there was a report about an hour later saying that Cancelo only wants to go to Barcelona. This is his dream club. But the reality is, if you got close to 11 o'clock and, you know, there's no other option, you know, sometimes you go to the nightclub and, you know, you've got high aims and expectations by 4 a.m., you know, things change, people. Let me not say too much, but you know what I'm saying, people. Barcelona could be the target at the start of the night, but by the end of the night, you know, when there's a taxi outside and you're getting yourself a burger from the shop round the corner, oh, go on then, I'll take Arsenal at 4 a.m. You never know, people. We could be that option for Cancelo. You know, it is what it is. It's not always about how you get there, it's just simply getting there, you know. Let me not say too much, you know. It's transfer deadline day, and I haven't been on live stream for a while, so maybe I'm speaking a bit reckless here. But yeah, Arsenal could be the 4 a.m. outside the kebab shop, and you know. But hey, let me not say too much. It's Friday, you know. I haven't been on live stream for a few days. So I got to find my way back in. I'm just warming up. I'm jogging at the moment, people. We need to stretch and just make sure we're all right. But anyway, yeah, I've looked into the details. It looks as if Barcelona are going to get the deal done. And yeah, it doesn't look like Cancelo is coming to Arsenal. So if you want to throw that I've used clickbait on the title, then you're absolutely right. But 2 hours ago, there was a rumor it was a little bit possible, but it's minimal. It's absolutely minimal, people. I'm not even going to lie to you. I said... I can't click on some of the comments. I've started you off, people. I'm sorry. I apologize. But anyway... We'll be okay. Can look at it again in January and get Ivan Toney. I hope you're right, Gary. I hope you're right. We did say that last January, and you know, January didn't lead us to the title last year. But hey, yeah, I can say there's some wild comments. I'm sorry. Then 4 a.m. Mac is all, yeah, they do the job. You know what I mean? They do the job. Yeah, the side chick, man. When all else fails, they call Arsenal. But anyway, let me read these super chats. After shamelessly saying you miss Xhaka, I thought you disappeared to avoid banter. Surprised nobody went in for João Felix, Ivan Toney in January. Well, we'll see. I think Felix will probably... I don't know what's going to happen. He may sign for Barcelona as well. Toney in January would be great. Can you see it happening? They want 80 million for him. Are Arsenal dropping 80 in January? Bear in mind, he loves Jesus. He loves Eddie. I hope so, but... I'm not overly confident is what I will say. Gunnar for life. If Partey's right back v Man United, we are done. Oh, Rashford will rip him to bits. Let's be real. Yeah, he needs to stop with that foolishness. the manager, on Sunday. Carl said Havertz for 67.5 million versus Maddison for 40 million. I mean, that is an absolute shocker. And I don't like to say anything that gives Tottenham some sort of props. But, you know, watching Maddison in his first few games for them, I mean, he's balling. He's balling. And Havertz is, I don't know what he's doing, but he ain't balling. That's for sure. He definitely ain't balling. But all we can do is hope and pray, people, that something happens eventually. Adam said, what's up, bro? Football London reporting Gabriel and ESR exits. Nah, I don't think they're going. Oh, well, ESR, I definitely don't think. Well, if the Saudi clubs come back in for Gabriel, you never know. But I don't think so. I don't think it will happen. I got to be honest. And White said, I've copped that green shirt already. Curtis's fault. Bro, I was trying to put money into the club so we sign players. Now we don't want to sign no one. Make it make sense. Keep the receipts. 28 days. Worst case scenario, a little tear on the sleeves, get your money back. Hazim said, hey, do you think competing in all comps is a great season? Because to me, top 3 win both cups, minimum round 16 Champions League is really good follow-up season. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to get this Cancelo one off the screen because, you know, he ain't coming anywhere near us, let's be honest, unless we're playing Barcelona in the Champions League. Havertz is falling, Maddison's balling. You're probably not far off there, to be honest. Although to fall, you've got to actually run, maybe have a bit of intensity. I'm not sure Havertz has moved much. But Havertz is crawling. I'm telling you, man. It's a strange one, isn't it? It's a strange one. We're one of the only clubs that could spend all that money. I just think with Arsenal at the moment that sometimes when you have a title assault, the next season, I don't know. I feel like he's going to have a lot to contend with this season, Mikel. I think a lot of the fan base have had a lot of patience with Mikel Arteta. Not really me. I was on his case after 18 months, 2 years. I was saying, no, I need to see more than that. I just feel like this year, people are expecting to see production from this manager. And I think that means trophies. He spent £600 million since he's been in charge. He's had 4.5 years. He's going to have a lot to contend with. He is, because, you know, to manage the Champions League is a lot different to managing the Europa League. Because you look at some of the Europa League groups today. I mean, I saw the Europa League group Liverpool were in. All you can just rotate. You can make 9 changes and win those games. Champions League, we can't do that. So I don't know, and I don't want to come in the chat and be overly negative, but I just have that feeling we haven't quite done enough, and I can't even label that to the Cronkies this summer, because usually I'm saying, well, you guys didn't spend enough money. You can't win a title with 100 million. They've spent 210 million, and I'm looking at it going, have you really got enough value out of that? Listen, the Timber injury. Wow, I've got a delivery at the door, people. Give me a second. Maybe they've delivered a sign into the house. Let me go. Yeah, more training kit, people. No, I'm joking. It ain't training kit. I was going to ignore it, but the man's banging the door off. I thought the police were raiding me. Now, no merch, people. No merch. It was DPD driver banging off the door because he needed the signature. But, hey, we're back. No, what I was saying, sometimes, you know, the Champions League, it does take it out of you sometimes, you know, when you're having to play Wednesday and at the weekend as well. Do you know what? I wanna go through this actually. This is how little we've got to talk about. I'm gonna bring up one of my own tweets and use this as a source, because I was having I will say Twitter debate / arguments, what they usually are. But this was the tweet that I put earlier. It caused a lot of conversation. So I said, Surely we sign at least one player today. There's no cover for Zinchenko at left back, no cover for Saka at right wing. We still need a prolific striker and another centre midfielder to cover Partey and Rice. 4 more signings ideally, but not realistic on the last day. Now, we know that nothing is ever, you're never going to get ideals in football. You're not going to get every position that you expect or want in your club. But the way I was breaking it down, if Zinchenko gets injured and he missed 11 games last season, we do not have a left back. People can say, oh, Tomiyasu can go there. I watched Tomiyasu there the other week and I saw Jordan Ayew ripping him apart in the first half and got him sent off. Harsh sending off, but no one can tell me Tomiyasu is a quality left back. Tomiyasu also goes to the Asia Cup, by the way, in January, right, with Japan. So he can miss up to 4 weeks of our season. You're then talking about Kivior. Now, Kivior is not even established as a centre-back in the Premier League yet. The Kiwi isn't even ripe yet at centre-back. Never mind chucking him at left-back and asking him to play against Mo Salah or throwing him in the Champions League and playing against right wingers in the Champions League. So the Kivior Tomiyasu left-back argument doesn't work for me. I'm talking about specialists. I'm not talking about, well, I can do it. I'm talking about, are you a specialist at it? No cover for Saka. Now, people are saying Reece Nelson. Yeah, Reece Nelson can do a job, but again, he's better at left wing. So is Smith Rowe. So is Trossard. So is Martinelli. They're all left wingers. Man United tried it with Sancho. They needed a right winger. They threw him right wing. Guess what happened? Didn't work. And he can't get in on the left because Rashford's there. So he's sitting down on the bench. They had to go and buy Anthony a year later. So if Saka got injured, who plays right wing for a consistent period of time? Reece Nelson. And he never takes Saka off. So he clearly doesn't trust Nelson. And Nelson is injury prone. You then talk about the striker. Listen, the striker was always a dream. It isn't going to happen. Jesus, he loves him. Eddie Nketiah, he loves him. Congrats to Eddie. He got the England call-up. There's no chance of probably bringing a striker in at the moment with those two because he loves them. You know, Jesus on a massive contract. He's one of the captains out of 5. And he's got Eddie, you know. And Havertz can play there as much as I don't want to say that, but that's what he's got. And then centre mid. Now, a lot of people are in the comments saying, no, we've got enough centre mids. We've got enough. We've got Jorginho as cover. Well, this is what I wanted to bring to people's attention, right? That tweet, by the way, people just don't take tweets the right way, do they? That tweet, I said, we need another centre mid to cover Partey and Rice. Now, I'm aware that we've got Jorginho, but I wanted to bring a couple of things up. Now, I'm not talking about attacking midfielders. I'm not talking about Havertz or Fabio or Odegaard or Smith Rowe. I'm talking about central midfield players, CMs or CDMs, right? Thomas Partey goes to AFCON in January. AFCON in January, people. 4 weeks. Injury-prone player goes to AFCON. You know how these tournaments can be. Sometimes the pitches are not very good. We saw Aubameyang when he went to Africa sleeping on the airport floor, people. El Neni goes to AFCON as well. Now, we've got 4 centre mids. Partey, Rice, Jorginho, El Neni. El Neni's nowhere near good enough. I don't even include him. He's going AFCON as well, right? So you're looking at Partey, Rice, and Jorginho. Now, Jorginho's 31 years of age. Partey's been injury prone and Rice has just signed. Now, you look at Liverpool. They've got Szoboszlai. They've just signed Gravenberch. They've got Thiago. They've got McAllister. They've got Curtis Jones. That's 5. They've got Endo. That's 6. You need numbers. Chelsea have got Lavia, Caicedo, Enzo, Gallagher, Carney as well. So that's 5. You need numbers. Manchester United have got Amrabat, Casemiro, Ericsson, McTominay, although I don't particularly rate all of these guys either. So you need numbers. You need numbers in midfield. You cannot realistically say Partey, Rice, Jorginho, that is it for the whole season. Some people saying Ghana haven't qualified for AFCON, so maybe I'm wrong on that one. But 3 centre midfielders. 3 centre midfielders to get you through a season. You're an injury away from Jorginho. You're 2 injuries away from El Neni. Do you know what I mean? And Arsenal are a club that get a lot of injuries. So, for me, I would have liked to have seen another midfielder. I'm seeing Gravenberch for £34 million. good players that we should be in for. But it is what it is. Not everybody agrees. Some of you may agree. January window exists, Big C. Well, it can be too little too late by then, though, bro. This is the window to set yourself up for the season. January is a very unpredictable window. It's hard to get your targets. The summer is much easier, and a lot of players are going on loan this summer. You've got an agenda. El Nenny's reliable. You know what I mean? You get all that. Big up Jay Mills, who said managed to catch a live for the first time. Managed to get tickets tomorrow. First time in 10 years. AFTV set up at the Tony Adams statue, so get yourself on there after. Enjoy the game on Sunday. Massive game. Andrea Bellotti would fit well for 85 mil. Didn't he go to Roma? I think Roma signed him last season. Trixie said, so where's that war chest at the back in Dreamland again? Remember when we were on a high and I said it wouldn't last long? Surprise, surprise. Arsenal, they give with one hand, they take with the other. It's like earning big wages. Then the tax man says, all right, yeah, you got big wages, yeah? All right, I'm going to take half of that. Alberto said, we never take that extra step to win the league. We can't always be short if we want to win trophies. I will not accept failure this year. I agree. And Cooper said, we're a Rice signing better than last season. And that is 100% true. The reality is, and as I said, Timber, we can't blame that on anyone. He looked like he was going to be a top player. And yeah, Bellotti, 85 mil. I think they got him on a free transfer. You can't be paying them monies for him. But the Timber injury is devastating because he definitely improved our defence massively. Havertz at the moment, let's be honest, it's an absolute wild card. There's no doubt about it. At the moment, he looks like producing nothing. All we can do is be patient and hopes that he does something. And Declan Rice has come in for Xhaka. And Xhaka had a good season. I think what Arsenal need to do, and I hate to talk like this, is, it's the old Arsene Wenger, well, he's like a new signing. We need new signings from the players that are already at the club. And I hate to say that, but that's where we're at. Smith Rowe hardly kicked a ball last year. We need Smith Rowe performing this season. Fabio Vieira did nothing last season, really, in the Premier League. We need him to produce something this season. Eddie Nketiah was meaty last season. He started the season much better. We need more from him. Trossard we've now got for the whole season. We signed him in January. We need more from him. We need Havertz to produce something. So we need the players that are in the door at the moment to do more and try and lift the level. It's not what we want. We want Arsenal to go there and go and spend more money and really go for the title. I'm going to be honest, at the moment, I feel like we haven't done enough to win the league. I just don't. I don't think that we've had a window that makes me believe that we can win the Premier League this season. I think that we'll be in the top four, but I think unless something goes horribly wrong at City, I don't think we've quite done enough. Madagascar knocked out Ghana, bro. Wow, that's crazy. I didn't even know that. Sorry. Samuel said, you definitely have an agenda, Curtis. Our keeper Raya for saying he has a dodgy nose while clearly you're envious of the tattoo on the back of his neck. Big up, Samuel. Hope you're well, bro. He's always bantering me off in the comments. The tattoo on his neck, I haven't even seen the tattoo on David Raya yet, but hey, big up yourself. And Carl said, Alexi Lales says, thinks Yunus Musa is the most talented US player. Him for 20 million would have been good CDM cover. Need to focus high upside guys for less. I hear you on that. And Musa was at Arsenal, so he would have wanted to come back. Young Gunner said, Havertz scares us more than he does Pep. I think we are more scared of Kai Havertz than the opposition at the moment. He scares me in an Arsenal shirt. El said put Vieira instead of Kai Havertz. Came in on fire. He played really well the other day. He did, definitely. Let's see. It's a tattoo of a date when they defeated us. My confidence from last season's challenge and form of play has deteriorated. Let's move on. Let's move on. We'll come back to it. I think overall, the general feeling is that we've spent big, which we do have to give some credit for to the owners. I'm one to criticise the owners massively, but I have to give them credit. You spent £210 million. You expect to see results from the manager. So I actually can't put the blame or if anything goes wrong this season, it's very difficult for me to blame the ownership this season, because we've spent enough money that if we'd spent it wisely, I think we'd be in an incredible position. Have we spent it well enough? I don't know. Time will tell. Time will tell. You see the Guendouzi downfall. I have. Bosch J would have loved Gravenberch. He's what we needed. Havertz weren't, I'm afraid. Net spend is 130. All right. We've made about, I think, 80 million. So in reality, could Arsenal not have gone and spent another 60, 70 million and spent 200 million? I don't know. I don't know. Give credit, but it's not enough. We are competing for trophies. The window tells me that they want to probably get top 4 again and try and win a domestic trophy. It doesn't tell me that they're trying to win the Premier League desperately or they're really going for the Champions League. Let's talk a bit of transfers. This player's going out. It's nothing to be excited about, but we're just briefly going to go through it. Nuno Tavares was confirmed yesterday. Nottingham Forest, loan deal. A small loan fee, couple of £1 million, and they can sign him for 12 million at the end of the season if he makes a certain amount of appearances. As I've said before, spoke to a few Forest fans. If you play him wing back, I think you've got an exciting player on your hands. If you play him left back, he's a loose cannon. That's the reality of the situation. We've got him off the books for the season. But again, as I always say, when you loan players out and there's no obligation to buy, if they don't perform, you're in the same situation 12 months later. He went on loan to Marseille. It started off good. We all thought, yes, we'll sell him. Marseille realised he wasn't very good. And they sent him back to us. And we're in the same situation again. And we could be in 12 months' time. Man said, bro, my screen just growled at me. Well, he's gone barking mad, my friend. But I just think, listen, to me, transfer windows are 50% what you bring into the club. That is new signings and the players that you retain. I think we did a fantastic job in the players that we retained this summer. We retained Gabriel Martinelli, Saliba and Saka. Those 3 contracts were absolutely vital to the future of this football club. I give that credit. I look at the transfer window. I think Timber was a fantastic signing. The injury is unfortunate for everybody, so I can't blame them on that. Declan Rice, I think we paid more than what he's probably worth, but I'm happy that we got him. So I have no problem with that signing because the manager wanted him. Kai Havertz, for me, at this moment in time, it was the wrong player to sign. I think you could have split that. In reality, you could have signed Maddison. You could have signed Gravenberch. There were players out there for half the money that would have probably been better suited to what we needed. And then the inability to clear the wage bill and bring in decent prices for some of these players, in my opinion, is what has now cost us from going back into the market. You've got to remember, we are, 6 hours away from the transfer deadline closing. 8 hours away. And Cedric still plays for Arsenal. Pepe still plays for Arsenal. Sambi Lokonga, Rob Holding. These guys still play for Arsenal. We haven't sold them. We haven't made no money. Tavares went on loan. Runarsson went on loan. Patino went on loan. Tierney went on loan. No transfer fee. In 12 months' time, all of those players could be back in the Arsenal changing room and we're back to square one going, okay, well, what do we do now? The wage bill's too high. We can't get rid of them. Yet Chelsea, here's Kai Havertz, 65 million, pay it, and we'll take all the wage. Mason Mount, Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Anyone they needed to sell, they got rid of them. And they got decent fees. We have not been able to sell players because the reality is these players aren't as good as what we think. And no one wants them. Nobody wants Sambi Lokonga. Nobody wants Nuno Tavares. Nobody wants Cedric. Big wages, average players. How do you sell them? That's the problem. We are now paying the price now from previous transfer windows where we've signed very average players. And now we're struggling to get rid of them. Because how do you sell rubbish? What do you do when your clothes don't fit you and they look old and washed up, you got to put them in the charity bag, people, and just give them away. Take them to the charity shop and say, you know what? I used to love that shirt 8 years ago. Now it don't fit me. It's faded. I can't sell it on eBay. Bag it up and give it to the charity shop. We got some charity shop players at the club, people. I hate to say it, but some of these just need to go in the bag and just hand them out, people. Just take it. Just take it. If it's your size, just have it, people. I'm telling you. You can't sell some of these. You can't list these on eBay. It ain't going to happen. You know, buy it now, price, whatever. It ain't happening. Goodwill is calling, people. Goodwill is calling. Cedric, Lokonga, Holding. Put it in the bag and just take it. Just take it off our hands, people. I'm telling you now. Yeah, it smells a bit, a bit musty, man. It's been in the cupboard for 5 years. Don't smell too good anymore. Could do with a fresh. Just take it. Anyway, let's talk about some of them guys. Anyway, some of these players. Sorry if they end up staying at the club or if I ever see them on tour. But it is what it is. Luton Town are back in. They've submitted a loan offer for Albert Sambi Lokonga. Yeah, I mean, as I said, Sambi, the new Yaya Toure, he told us. I'm telling you now, somebody should send a police officer to Burnley Football Club and Vincent Kompany should be arrested because that is fraud if ever I've sold it. I've seen it, sorry. He said on the phone to Mikel Arteta, this guy was the new Yaya Toure. I mean, I don't know what kind. Yaya Toure at the age of 45? Like, did we read the small print? What the hell's going on? Because I never saw Yaya Toure when I saw this guy on the pitch. I saw a midfield Yaya Sanogo. That's what I saw. Horrendous player. Didn't work out. And again, loan with an option to buy. Let's be honest. Let's just say it as it is. Now, apparently Sambi is delaying this deal, which I can understand. Sambi probably thinks, maybe I can nick a better move than Luton. Let's be real. If Sambi goes to Luton on loan, two things. Number one, they can't afford his wages. So we are going to be paying the majority of his wages because there's no way they can pay 60 grand a week. Number two, and let's just say it as it is. I'm sorry to come across disrespectful. Luton are going to get relegated. I would imagine Luton are going to get relegated. So there is no way that Luton are buying him at the end of this loan. So in 12 months' time, Sambi Lokonga's going to be back at the Arsenal training ground. And we're going to be back to square one. So the loan is almost pointless. You're just getting him out the door. You're just going to get a little bit of his wages paid off. And that's where we're at. We can't give these guys away. These Sambis, because they know 60 grand a week, he can't get that anywhere else in world football. No one's giving him 60 grand a week. He's not in the Belgium squad anymore. Everyone knows he ain't the new Yaya, and we can't get rid of him. And this is the situation we're in. But listen, will he go to Luton on loan? I'm not sure. Kompany was drunk when he quoted that. He must have been. Remember in the Amazon documentary, why am I not playing, man? Why am I not playing? Bloody hell, mate. We saw you play. That's why you're not playing. But anyway, he's, will he take the deal or not? Will be interesting. But Sambi Lokonga, loan offer from Luton Town, people. I think Luton play tonight, their first home game against West Ham. I mean, listen, I did say Luton might go down, get relegated. I think they will have an opportunity to stay up if they do well at home. Now we got some breaking news, by the way. It is another player on his way out, and it looks like this one is going to be confirmed. This one has just been tweeted by Mike McGrath, who is a good source. He writes for the Daily Telegraph. And David Andrews said, harsh reality, Dave. That's what we're for. All right, Dave. Only fools and horses set his people. But Rob Holding is on his way out of Arsenal Football Club. Mike McGrath confirming. Crystal Palace confirm. They have agreed a fee with Arsenal for Rob Holding in the region of £4 million. 4 million people. Wow. Remember when Arsene Wenger, oh, I'm very sorry that Rob Holding did not cost 50 million. He only cost 2.5 million. All them years at the football club, we made £1.5 million profit. Can you believe it? 4 million, you know. Oh, my day. Listen, I suppose I can't contradict myself. I said, you know, sometimes you got to put them in the charity bag. This is a charity shop deal. 4 million. I mean, Rob, you know what? Let's go full screen. Rob, thanks for the memories, mate. Cheers, Rob. Oh, it's an Arsenal mug. They're mugging us off today, people. Transfer deadline day. It's just Friday to Arsenal. Rob Holding. Thanks for the memories, Rob. But I'm thinking, what are the best memories of Rob Holding? It's got to be the hair transplant. It's got to be the hair transplant. I mean, what a comeback. What a comeback. Bold as a badger. Looking like Phil Mitchell. And, you know, 6 months later, he looked like Reggie Blinker. Dreadlock Rasta. So, yeah, Rob Holding's best performances at Arsenal. Definitely that famous night in Turkey, people. And that transplant. That transplant is definitely the highlight of his time at Arsenal Football Club. That is for sure. So congrats to Rob Holding on his way to Crystal Palace. That's an interesting move, really. That was an interesting one. Rob Holding, 4 million. Oh, I mean, Palace have got money as well. I don't know how we're getting so little money for him, but it is what it is. Thanks, but no thanks. Buying the merch for Curtis. £4 million, people. £4 million for Rob Holding. Surely we should have got more money than that for him. I'm not even going to lie. And I'm not a big Rob Holding fan. But he's worth more than... But listen, do you know what it is? What's a better situation? Getting 4 million or keeping him at the club and not really playing? You know, there's no point even really keeping him. If he's not playing. So I would rather get 4 million for Rob Holding and get, you know, 4 million for Sambi and get 4 million for Tavares, get their wages off the wage bill and keep it moving. That's all we can do at this stage. Gunakai says 4 million is worth it. Yeah, you might as well just take the 4 million for him at this stage, to be honest, and just see, you know, get the wages off the wage bill. With that here, we thought we'd get more. Yeah, I thought... listen, I honestly... He hasn't even played for England, has he? So at the moment, you'll be lucky. Bleck said 4 million is too much for him. It probably is, to be honest. It probably is. I'm just looking if that's been confirmed now. Rob Holding is... And Rob Holding has agreed. Roy Hodgson says Dougie Friedman knows him, and if we can get him in, will he start at Palace? I don't think he even starts at Palace, to be honest. So I'm not even sure if he'll get regular game time there either, to be honest. Let's see what it says. Anything else to be said on it? Roy Hodgson's already speaking about it, so let's see what it says. What's going on here with this mic? How have Arsenal bought these players that no one even wants on loan? You're right. I don't know how. Bro Company didn't only paid 2 million for it. So we do. Listen, we doubled our money on Rob Holding, so that's the best we can get at the moment. Anyway, to be honest, Holding sums up the demise of the Wenger spiral years. You don't often have an English centre-back who plays for Arsenal for that long and still doesn't manage to get an England call-up at any time. I read that one. Hey, big up Fitz. I didn't even see that one. If the summer window ends like this, then we're going to do nothing and we're going to win nothing, especially if the awful Havertz doesn't improve. Now, Fitz, I've said it before and I've said it again. You need to start being honest and stop holding back, you know, all of the... Don't beat around the bush. Just say exactly what you think, Fitz, because, you know... Fitz, as always, kicks off the front door, comes flying in with the shotgun, and you know, it's he tells us what he thinks. But listen, we'll have to see with that one. Hopefully, at some stage he improves. But listen, this transfer window for me, I think it's Timber isn't the club's fault, so I find it difficult to really rip them apart for that. I think it's a 6 out of 10 window. I'm going to be honest with you. I think it's a 6 out of 10 window, people. I don't think we've done enough to that front line. I think we could have done with another defender. And I don't think we've done enough to sell. I think if we'd have got players out of the door quicker, you might have seen us go into the window today. But because we haven't, I don't think we can. I think the wage bill is too high. Trixie says, can we swap Arteta, Lokonga and El Neni plus 80 million for Pep? Yeah, if only. If only, man. If only. Guna for life. I would do a swap deal for ESR for Mudryk. ESR for Mudryk. There was rumours, actually, that Chelsea were willing to swap Mudryk for ESR, but I don't think there was anything in that. I think it was purely paper talk. This Havertz deal has blown our transfer window completely up. We spent all window haggling over Rice, and 65 mil on Havertz is the paperweight. You do have to think, don't you, when you look back at it now, 65 million in theory, we've spent 210 million. 65 million is 1/3 of our entire transfer budget. And we spent it on a player that at this stage we're struggling to get into the team. You have to wonder, really, why like, the one question I would love to ask Mikel Arteta so much is, what was your plan regarding Kai Havertz? Why did you feel the need to spend so much money on a player that it didn't seem like there was a desperate need for? It was like, why didn't you save some of that money till the end? I think my biggest issue with Havertz is, like, the way we play 4-2-3-1. He's not a better attacking midfielder than Martin Odegaard. And he's, even the way Fabio played the other day, is he even better than him? I don't know. Time will tell. He's not a better striker than Jesus. He's not even a better striker than Eddie Nketiah, if we're being totally honest at the moment. The way Eddie's playing. And he's not a centre midfielder. He ain't going to run around tackling people. So it's like, you've spent big money on something with absolutely no plan. You've just signed him because you've said, well, he can play here and he can play there and he can play there. I think when you spend 65 million, you've got to be a specialist. You've got to be like, right, I'm coming in that team, I'm playing there, and this is what I'm going to offer for that team. Not, well, if you need me, I can play in the 8 role, and if you got a bit of space in the 10 role, I can pop there. I can go up front if you need me, but you spend like 20 million on players like that, 30 million on players that can come in and help you out. You don't spend 65 million on, a space invader, as we're saying. He invades the space. So, yeah, I've said it before and I'll say it again, people. I hope I'm sitting here at the end of the season, humble pie, and Havertz has proved us all wrong. 10 goals, 8 assists, and he's a baller. I think that signing is going to be like, I think that is going to cause Arteta so many problems. The fans are on his case. And the reason is, number one, 3 seasons he hasn't performed at Chelsea. Number 2, we've signed him from a rival where we've been burnt before at Chelsea, right? With Willian and Cech and all these players that haven't worked. And number 3, we've spent big money on him. And he looks at Arsenal the same way that he looked at Chelsea. Now, okay, yeah, be patient, people say. He might become a good player, and we all know that. If we'd signed Havertz from Germany and not directly from Chelsea, we'd probably be more patient because we'd feel like, well, at least he's our player, he's our signing. We haven't seen him in the Prem. Because he stunk out the joint at Chelsea, Chelsea couldn't wait to get rid of him. We're sitting here going, why the hell we spent so much money on a player that they can't wait to get rid of? You could have spent 65 million on a striker. You could have spent 65 million on Maddison, or, it just doesn't make sense to me. But anyway, it is what it is. Let's get into this Mikel Arteta press conference. And, listen, I saw a few quotes. I think it was quite Is it quite a long press conference? I've seen a few quotes. Now, people have been messaging me already saying, bro, when you see this press conference, the waffle is wild. Big up Black, who's been a member for 4 months. Our biggest transfer this season was Timber. He looked like he may have had the most impact, and the injury was damning, which is unfortunate. People are already saying this press conference is a wild one. Hey, I heard you were a wild one. Ooh. As I said, people, for Arsenal fans, it's just Friday. It's not the transfer deadline day. Mikel Arteta with the fresh hair. And I'm almost forgetting, we play Manchester United on Sunday, which I will be talking about tomorrow in tomorrow's. I'll do a live tomorrow because I haven't been live for a few days. We'll get a Saturday live in, people. And I'm going to go through this absolute waffle upon waffle upon waffle, people. It's that time again. The Cone Man himself is back. Cone Man music. Mickey Roast, the boss. Let's hear what he's got to say. Balogun, of course, has left the club. Doesn't matter that he's come through our academy, scored 20-plus goals. Let's get rid of him. On Flo, Nuno and Kieran leaving the club. He said, we're working together to find the best possible solutions, and we found them. I think the players are happy, and the club did some good business as well. I mean, well, we know it is what it is. On Balogun's transfer, he says, we didn't have space for him in the squad to give him the minutes that he needs. He was doing well last year in his loan period. He's evolving the right way and wanted the chance to continue developing his career. He's going to a really good club that has huge experience of developing talent, as everyone knows. I'm really happy for him as well. Listen, man, I wish Balogun all the best. For me, £35 million for a 21-year-old striker that scored 21 league goals in France. Whatever you think of the French league, you know, we've just seen Cole Palmer leave Man City for £45 million to Chelsea. And, you know, he plays for the under-21s. So, I don't know. I think there was space for him, but, you know, it is what it is. On whether he is excited about transfer deadline day, he said, for me, it will be serene. I don't have I don't have to do much work. We're trying to finalise a few things. So he ain't, you know, don't sound like he's doing much. On Eddie and Nketiah's England call-up, he said, I'm so pleased. If someone deserves to be in the England squad, that's him. An academy player that had some moments when his pathway wasn't very clear and he had to fight. I love his mentality, his work rate, how much he loves the game, how hard he's fought to be recognised. In this country, to play there is phenomenal. I'm happy for him. Stepson settings. On whether he takes personal pride on that, he said everybody has been involved in his development, feels extremely proud. On putting down a marker against United, he said, we know the history between the two clubs and the games we've had in the past. On this game being an early indicator of title credentials, he said, I don't know, I think it's too early in the season. We want to win all the games. On why it's a high-scoring fixture against United, he said, well, first of all, the quality of the players. There are a lot of top offensive players in both teams. I'm skipping if he's waffling. Yeah, role model settings, man. Definitely his stepson. Look at the way he loves Eddie. He don't show anywhere near that love for Flo Balogun. Man said he's evolved and he's been moved on. The Pokemon has moved on, people. He's off. On whether last season has raised the expectation levels. It has raised the level of every single thing we do every year. And we have to demand more of each other to be better. Let's skip it. On how happy he is with our performances this season. He said, really happy. I said against Fulham, and I've watched the game twice. Then we played 10 times better, 6 or 10. But we definitely played much better. But it's all about results. One thing is to play really well. The other thing is to compete really well. And what we didn't do when we had to compete in certain moments is the best possible way to do it. We played 10 times better. I reaffirm that to you again. I mean, honestly, it should be end the stream settings. But I'm trying not to. I'm trying to feed the community. It needs to be waffle. I mean, he's reaffirming it. We played 10 times better, but we beat them 2-1 last year and we drew 2-2 this year. I would happily rather you played 10 times worse and won the game 2-1, Mikel. That would be my comeback. I think it's a shambolic thing to say. It's 10 times the waffle, people. Next time, start trouble inside the Waffle House. Dipset settings, people, Harlem. On tactical changes this season, he said, I think we discuss formations in a different way. In the other game, there were 36 different formations in the match. Against Man City, there were 43. So I don't know what formation you're talking about. For me, it's something very different. "43 formations. Oh dear, you're mugging us off again. You are mugging us off. So Mikel, basically what I want to ask you is, out of those 43 formations, which one of them involves having Thomas Partey at right back and, having, Kivior at left back and leaving Declan Rice as a lone six? Which one of the 43? Anyway, let's move on. 43 waffles, people, I'm telling you. He's obviously not happy with the question on why he's changed the defence this season. He said the personnel is different. We played differently against Manchester City, and there were 43 different structures in different phases. Oh, my day. People, by the way, I just want to say one thing, right? You may think that you're watching one stream right now, 2,828 of you, and 47 of you on Twitch. You may think that you're watching one stream, but actually you're watching 43 different streams in different ways. Every time I move, look, I've moved 43 different ways during this formation. These are all different streams you're watching here. So you may think this is just one stream. This is just one transfer deadline day. But this is 43 different phases of streaming that we're doing here. It's actually the Matrix. So, Lawrence Fishburne, Keanu Reeves. This is a Matrix. This is 43 different streams. So, where else can you watch 43 different streams in one? It's unbelievable. He said, the personnel is different. We played differently against Manchester City. There were 43 different structures in different phases. Every morning I come from my house to my Coney. Oh, no, to Coney. Oh, no, he's going crazy. We're going to need some red stripe in here, people. There's no one there, but I just like shouting that. It adds to it. I feel like I'm in a bar. I might need a drink to get through this. He said, every morning I come from my house to Coney. Sometimes I leave at 6 and I need to wipe the windscreen because it's icy. And at 6 o'clock, normally I go down one road because it's faster. Now it's 20 miles an hour. So sometimes I take a back road and then I go on the M25. But depending on if it's a school ride, then I take one exit. If it's after 7 o'clock, I take a different exit. One day I have a flat tire, and what do? You have to replace it and take a different road because the garage is there. So every game is a different story. We got Man United in 2 days. Ah, dear. We're signing no one. We got Havertz hiding. We got 43 formations. And he's talking about the M25 and talking about ice on the windscreen. I should end the stream. I should end it. I actually should. We're going to need some more red stripe. People, please. Like, did he go out last night? Did him and Edu have a barbecue last night? 43 shades of cone. I don't understand what is going on. I should end it. It's unbelievable. We've got Man United in 2 days. We've got Partey at right back. He's talking about the roads. I mean, let me read your super chats. I need some sense. Gunnar Big C, big love. That 65 million for Havertz looking worse now with what we could have done with it. Rice, yeah, but overall we ain't improved. Fight for top 4. It could be that. Jorge, would you take West Ham signings instead of ours? Who've they signed? Kudus? I don't really know who else they've bought. I'd have took Kudus, but obviously I wanted Rice off them. Jashar, 6 out of 10 window for Arsenal, 7 out of 10 for Palace. What are you saying? They've had a better window. Gunnar Paul, Fabio Vieira fighting for minutes, and Havertz straight into being a ghost, mincing around like Casper. No, Big C, I ain't having it. He's terrible. He looks shocking at the moment. Let's not hide. C-Law, Edu moving like Pookie in New Jack City. Want to buy a turkey? Adam says, spending 65 million on Havertz is like buying an Audi rice cooker. I'm wondering why it's not a, whatever that is, elephant brand. But yeah, I hear you. Spending big money on, you know, not very good quality, I think. Big up Adam. Trixie, dizzy settings, fix up, look sharp. I'm effing dizzy, okay. Dane, Curtis, you weirdo. It's obviously another typo. We obviously said 4-3 formations. We still needed more players from the window. Big up. Dane, I'm not sure how to take that because you've called me a weirdo, which, you know, that's a bit harsh on a super chat, but we'll keep it moving. Maybe, maybe you meant it in 43 different ways, and I have to figure out what you mean. Now, you're telling me it's a typo. You're telling me it's a typo, but this guy has said it twice in 2 different sections, so maybe it isn't a typo. Dane, thank you for the $5, but you're going to have to go on timeout, you know, because you're being a bit weird as well, my friend. So you take 3 minutes, reflect on your actions. Thank you for the $5 though, before you go. 3 minutes on the naughty step. And yeah, I don't really appreciate that language. It doesn't look like a typo, as they've said it twice. So go and reflect and look in that mirror 43 different times and figure out, you know, that super chat that you've just put in, because I think that's a bit out of order, my friend. But I don't think it is a typo. But big up Dame for the $5. That's your last warning, by the way. 43 warnings. E-Ross, I've never seen the chat screen go so fast. I've never seen so much waffle in a press conference in my life, people. Waffle settings in full effect. Gunnarola said, we got it all wrong. Pep hired Mikel, not just for the talent, because he's a stubborn mental pain in the rear. Lord help us. 50 Shades of Process, says Trixie. We're on 43 right now. B-Dubs, at least no Castagna. He's at Fulham. No, we did not want that lasagna at right back. And Dash Cash said, Big C back in the motherland for the first time in 20 years. Big up C in the community. How about that Champions League draw? I will discuss that briefly at the end. Enjoy your time in the motherland, bro. And let's continue through this painful nonsense. We don't want to talk about roadmaps. On if he's tempted to use the same team as last season, he said, I cannot do that. I have different players. Zinchenko was injured. Granit is not here, so how can I do that unless I bring them back? I don't think it's going to happen. Yeah, he's just being silly, isn't he? On whether Zinchenko will be involved on Sunday, he is a really important player, but so is Urian. What he was giving us in the first few games was incredible, but he's not here, so we have to do something else. And if we have another injury, we have to do something else. If Bakayo is not there, we will have something else. So the M25 won't be good enough. Maybe we take another route, but if I speak to a taxi driver who has learnt the whole of London for 20 years, I know nothing compared to him because he will tell me all the streets and options there are. He's talking about London road maps. We play Man United in 2 days. He asked him about Zinchenko. And he's talking about the M25. What's happened to the cones? The cones are malfunctioning, people. It's wild. It's absolutely wild. He asked him about Zinchenko. He ended up talking about the road map. On if he was surprised Ben White is not in the squad. Ben has been incredible. We know that he was there, and what happened is totally down to Gareth Southgate and him to make that decision. On Smith Rowe's future, he has a role like everybody else, which is to give the best to make the team better. On the Champions League draw, first of all, it was great to see. He was there with his kids. They were betting on it. It was great fun. On whether it makes him more excited, he said for sure. On whether Arsenal can win it, he said, we're all participating, so we have a chance, but let's start this first game and see where we get. On why he didn't go into the market after Timber's injury, we've done quite a lot. Obviously, we have a lot of uncertainty about players. We have to be cautious and find alternatives. Sometimes it's not possible. On if players had to leave before we could bring in more, he said yes, but then we could go and buy another 3 players and somebody gets injured long term. It's not possible. On Rasmus Højlund, I prefer not to speak. On whether not knowing about Højlund will make Manchester United more unpredictable, he said, like any other club, they will try and get their squad to the highest level. On the decision he has to make with Nketiah now he's been called up to England, he said, I don't see it that way. Any convos with Smith Rowe, he said, obviously I have conversations with him. On whether all players can play multiple formations, he said, every player has to do it. On whether that's a new thing, he said, it depends on the opposition. Let's end it. It's shocking. It's painful. It's boring. Get it out of here. 43 flavours of win. It's crazy. I told you he's mental, said Godarola. And Joba said, the lost draw to Fulham has done Mikel's head in. And Trixie said, man's playing Monopoly. Put Jesus on Fleet Street. That is one of the worst press conferences in the history of Arsenal. It's crazy. I'm telling you, I think they must have had a barbecue last night. They're drunk. They're hungover. Something ain't right. That draw has sent him crazy. 43 shades of Mikel. The process is sending him absolutely wild, people. Two quick things to talk about before we round up. The Daily Mail Sport confirming that Arsenal are contemplating the termination of Nicolas Pepe's contract as they struggle to find a move away for him before the deadline. Obviously, if you terminate the contract, they can go at any time, so there's no rush. There's no rush to get it done before the deadline tonight at 11 p.m. So it's an interesting one, that one. But again, you would like to think it would be a player that we could have maybe got some money for, but it's not happening. He was linked with Turkish clubs. He was linked with clubs in Saudi. It doesn't look like we can get any money for this guy, which is insane. But it is what it is. Like I said with Rob Holding, sometimes you've just got to get players off the wage bill. If you can't, if you can't get reasonable money for them, but terminating his contract means we're going to have to pay him. We're going to have to pay the guy to leave, which is wild because, again, how can we not pick up maybe £10 million for him or £5 million? We're actually going to have to pay him wages to leave the football club to go elsewhere. Obviously, he's on 130 grand a week now. If nobody is prepared to pay the wage and a sufficient transfer fee, the player's just going to sit there and say, I'm not going anywhere. And listen, you can't blame a player for saying, I'm not going unless you pay me sufficient money. So it is what it is at the end of the day. And it looks like we're going to have to pay off another player to leave the football club, Nicolas Pepe. Pepe is better than Havertz, said Stig. Listen, didn't he get 15 goals in all comps one season? 43 problems, but Rice ain't one. Mikel joining Arsenal therapy in 2 days. He needs it. We need to beat Man United, that is for sure. I will be doing a preview stream about that game tomorrow. If we get 4 million for Holding, we should get 4 million for Pepe. You would like to think so. Fabrizio Romano has apparently just done a here we go. Somebody just said Fabrizio has done here we go on Cancelo to Barcelona, apparently. Is it true, people? Is it true? Amrabat. Where are we? Let's have a look on his tweets. Has he tweeted that? I can't actually see that. Unless people are trolling. It looks like João Felix is going to Barcelona. I said João Felix on his way. So it doesn't look like Cancelo yet. João Cancelo never had calls, contract negotiations with any other club, FC Barcelona and nothing else. Patience needed. So, yeah, it looks like we're not getting any of them. Oh, yeah, he did. He reposted the same tweet. Cancelo to Barca, here we go. Yeah, so, yeah, they're getting João Cancelo and possibly João Felix. Apparently, João Felix has just landed in Barcelona. So, yeah, it doesn't look like we're doing much. That is for sure, people. Yeah, we may have to ban the press conference. But listen, what I will say is this, people. I think it's frustrating that we're not signing anybody today. Even if it was one, even if it wasn't exciting, I think somebody should have come through the door today. You never know. Maybe if they get rid of Holding and get rid of Lokonga, and maybe that frees up some wages to do something later on. But it's looking very unlikely. It looks like what we've got, we have got people. Rob Holding looks like he's on his way to Palace, £4 million. Tavares has joined Forest on loan. Luton have offered a loan fee for offered a loan deal for Lokonga, but he's not sure whether he wants to go there at the moment, as he may feel he's got better options. Doesn't look like we're bringing anybody in. Fabrizio has tweeted, here we go for Rob Holding. It's nothing to sing and dance about for us, really, is it? We're here for new players coming in. I'll round up by talking about the Champions League draw. Arsenal in a group with Sevilla, PSV and Lens. I put out a brief short about it yesterday. A lot of people were saying this is an easy group and things like that. Listen, let me get one thing clear about this group. I expect Arsenal to win this group. I do. And if they don't, I definitely expect them to at least get runners-up. There's no way we should be finishing third and ending up back in the Europa League. What I did say about this group, in my opinion, to add balance to this group offers no nights off. It offers no nights off. And what I mean by this is, you look at a lot of other Champions League groups, there is at least one team in there that you think, okay, they're going to be whipping boys. You know, you can turn up and hammer them. I mean, looking at some of the other groups, just as an example, I mean, Man City have got young boys from Norway who aren't great. Barcelona have got Royal Antwerp. You know, there's some teams in there that you think you could make 4 changes and still beat them comfortably. Sevilla won the Europa League. PSV beat us in the Europa League group stage. And Lens are a dangerous team, although they did sell some of their good players. I don't think there's any team in that group that Arsenal will just roll over comfortably. I do think we can win the group as long as we perform properly. I think it's a catastrophe if we don't get top 2 in that group. I mean, a lot of people saying it's a strong Europa League group sort of level. I think that group is better than people think. And I'm not saying this to make excuses. You know, Sevilla know how to negotiate in Europe. PSV, they beat us quite comfortably at their place. And Lens, you know, they may not be as good. I think Fofana left. I think they signed a striker. But listen, they've got some quick, lively players. But I would be very disappointed if we didn't win this group. That is for sure. Big up Marcel, who said Salah is going nowhere. Nah, you're good. I think Salah will leave next summer. I think you've got him for another year. Dre said Spurs picked up Johnson from Forest. Yeah, 45 million. It's just frustrating because we finished second last year. And like I said, we've spent big money, so I'm not even blaming the owners, which is crazy for me, because most January transfer windows, I'm sitting here going, that the other, you know, the blame is with the ownership, but they've spent 210 million. They've renewed Saka, they've renewed Martinelli, they've renewed Saliba. I think the blame has to, if there is any blame, it has to fall on Mikel Arteta and Edu, because have you spent that money properly? Have you strengthened us enough? Did we need more players? There's so many players in this window that have gone on loan with options to buy. Amrabat on loan with option to buy, and many, many others. And cheap deals like, you know, McAllister and Gravenberch have gone to Liverpool. Good transfer fees. There's some good deals out there if we were active. But, you know, Paulinho's gone to Bayern Munich for 60 million. Very good player as well. I just think we've fallen a couple of players short, if I'm being honest. No cover for Zinchenko at left back. And I mean natural cover, not, oh, Kivior can go there or Tomiyasu can go there. No natural cover for Saka. Nelson's better on the left. Martinelli and Trossard are better on the left. Do we have a prolific goal scorer, a 20-goal-a-season striker? Maybe not. Can Jesus prove us wrong and get 20 goals this year? I still would have liked another centre mid. I think after Partey and Rice, You've then got Jorginho. Then you're talking about Mohamed El Neni. I think we could have done with one more. You look at Ansu Fati going on loan. I'd have taken him on loan, you know? Yeah, I would have taken Amrabat. I know Amrabat wanted Manchester United, but what I'm saying, there were options out there that I think we could have got that could have given us a little bit more squad depth. But if we don't bring anyone in, as I said earlier in the show, you've got to get more out of the players that you've got as well, which means Smith Rowe's got to produce more. Fabio Vieira's got to produce more. Havertz has got to produce more. Kivior's got to step his game up. Zinchenko's got to stay fit. Partey's got to stay fit. And we see we are by the end of the season, or we go again in January and maybe sign some players in January. But it's a much more difficult window, January, than the summer. People, if we get any decent news later on, if something happens, I will go live again. But at the moment, if nothing does happen, that'll be that for today, to be honest. I'll read these super chats. Gunnar Paul said, win the Arsenal therapy dog. Get in and do your job. Coleman gone totally mad talking about Rhodes, putting Partey at right back and starting Havertz. Win, do your job. And Bleck said Edu and Arteta are the fall guys this season. Totally agree. They've been given the cash. Have they spent it properly? If anything happens, I will go live again later on. If not, I'll do a Saturday stream, maybe Saturday evening. I'm enjoying the evening streams on the weekend. That'll be to preview the Manchester United game in more detail. And obviously Sunday, it'll be watch-along settings, Arsenal against Manchester United. So, listen, the one bit of hope I'm clinging to is Holding's going to Palace. Nuno's gone to Forest. Pepe's contract could be getting cancelled. Cedric, I don't know where Cedric is. Maybe he's hiding in that petrol station where I met him. But if we can get these guys off the wage bill quickly, can we get somebody in later on this evening? But it's not looking likely at the moment. And Arteta said in the press conference that he doesn't expect any signings today, people. So, listen, don't hold your breath in terms of new signings. Trixie said, well, I'm going to go back to work. 43 ways. See you, Big C. If you tuned in for the press conference, you know Arteta was going crazy. But listen, people, thank you very much for tuning in. Hopefully, I'll be live again later because that will mean Arsenal have signed someone. If not, I'll be back with a Man United preview tomorrow. Thank you for your time. Take care, everyone, and I will see you all soon, people. Bless.